So, you want to play Peacemaker? I got you. I love John Cena, and I love that this guy's in the game. He was such a weird character when I picked him up, but now I'm having a lot of fun with him. So, let's go. First, he's got Silent but Deadly. He shoots out this little dart, and you can kind of like run with it if he wants to. And you can cancel it by clicking the block button. The cool thing about it is that you can use it in combos. So in the corner, you could loop it a lot. You could do something like this. So kind of fun to do. Works pretty good as an anti-air. And when you do land this, you're guaranteed a torpedo. So after that, we got Force Multiplier. He basically just pulls out his Glock and he starts shooting. It's a deagle, but you know what I mean. I think it's the only gun in the game, if I'm not mistaken, that isn't like Striker or something like that. So yeah, he just whips out a gun and he shoots you. Pretty fast. It's a high, can be ducked. But when you meter burn it, this is the cool part. It leaves him in a full screen restand. So there's certain strings that you can get where you're close enough to do things. You know, with this, it allows his combo potential to be a lot higher than other characters, because from anywhere on the screen, I could land this, and even if they're in the air, and it restands them. It's a really great move, and it allows him to do a lot of stuff with his combos. So then we got Activate Human Torpedo. He literally just makes himself a torpedo. It's like kind of like a Honda headbutt if you play Street Fighter. It goes full screen. It's incredible. And obviously it's going to be his armored move. If you meter burn it, does a little bit more damage, and it's his reversal. This, you could land this from anywhere because it's full screen. So I could land a Sonic Boom. I'm going to land this. All right, I can land one of these. I'm going to land this. I could do a gunshot. I could land this. Like, this ends all your combos perfectly, and it does quite a bit of damage. There really is no downside to this. I mean, other than the fact that obviously this is a reversal, when it's blocked you can get hit, but it's so fast, and because it goes full screen, I think it's one of the best reversals in the game, honestly. So then we got Activate Anti-Gravity, and this kind of lifts him up and he does an overhead attack. It reminds me of like the Viltrumite stance that Omni-Man has, where you can kind of like choose different options, because if you hold a different direction, it chooses where he's gonna hold. So you can go in front of him, behind him, on top of him, or if you hold up, it cancels it and you can do an aerial move on it and kind of follow up. So that's pretty cool. When you meter burn it, it actually doesn't do any damage. What it does is it escapes. So you use this on strings that are unsafe, and you're pretty much good to go. But the cool thing about it is that depending on the direction you hold, you have more or less of an escape. So you hold back, it goes all the way full screen. If you hold forward, it doesn't do it as far. It's kind of hard to show, but if you hold up, it actually goes into the regular move. And that's cool. You could do 2 of these if you time it correct. Something like that. That's pretty cool. I don't use this a lot, honestly, but I could see how it might be useful, and good Peacemaker players are going to make use of it because it's a pretty good escape tool. So then we got Activate Force Field. So what this does, he pops it and projectiles can't hurt him anymore. And this is really useful, obviously, when you're in a zoning war. You just pop this and now you take no damage, and like the projectiles just don't do anything to you. If you meter burn it, that little yellow part is a reflect, so the projectile will come right back to him. So that's pretty cool. Then we got Sonic Boom, not to be confused with Guile Sonic Boom, but now we're 2 for 2 on Sonic Booms being good moves. So this is, it kind of like pulses a little area around him. If you meter burn it, the area is the same, but it does a little bit more damage and you get a jump cancel. But essentially you could land torpedo whenever you want. Just a great tool overall, because it kind of takes up a decent amount of space. So if a person's pressing a button, you can hit them with this and then always confirm a torpedo. If they're jumping in at you and you know you're ready for it, you Sonic Boom, hit them with a torpedo. So it's pretty good. In the corner, you could do stuff like this. So you could loop them if you really want to. Just an all-around great tool. Obviously, it is minus on block, but you know, you're not going to want to be using this on block anyway. So next we got his Eagly moves. Of course, we can't have Peacemaker without his Eagle, so we have Eagly. The first one is Ground Air Offensive. he does a front flip and the eagle jumps right under him, and it's a low actually. This is unsafe, but that's fine because it's a low launcher and you only want to use it when you actually hit stuff. The cool thing about it is that you can land this basically off of anything. In the mid screen, it's going to be the one that you use the most. So you do stuff like this, so you can get your things off. So even almost full screen, you land your gun and follows up for a combo. So an example would be something like this. Pretty easy. And yeah, because it's a low, like people are gonna be, you know, they're jumping around, whatever. You hit them with a surprise low. Now it does have a cooldown. All his equally attacks do, because Eagly needs to get back in position. Obviously, canon. His other Eagly move is Beautiful Bird Bullet. So this is a mid projectile, and this one he kind of just does a little split, and it hits him. So in mid screen, it's not really all that great. I mean, you can land probably a torpedo, maybe, but it's most useful in the corner because you're able to dash in. So you can do something like this. So in the corner, it's pretty good at extending these combos and allowing you to do more stuff. And as you see, a lot of these things are combo tools, like a lot of his special moves. So you can kind of just like loop them. You can kind of think of them as different puzzle pieces. So you know you have your little shot, you have your boom, and you have your eagly, right? So you can kind of just do things like all you got to do is remember, like, oh, I still have to do this. Oh, I still have to do that. And then you kind of just weave your way. I just made that up on the spot. Like, a lot of stuff works with him, and it's pretty cool. And then his last special move is the Ultimate Ally. He calls out Eagly, and this actually attacks Kameos, so if they're called out. So a good example. So yeah, he calls out a Cameo, and Eagly is gonna attack. And he kind of just keeps attacking the Cameo for a while. And the character actually does take damage, which is the cool part. See? Until he runs away. It's pretty fun. And so it's whatever time that you see that little gold aura around him. It's kind of hard to see in the sunlight, but that gold aura is basically where Eagly will be attacking. So this on cameos that I know are not like combo cameos, so like cameos that stay there, I tend to use this a lot. And they get frustrated because they're not able to use their game plan to their advantage. Because I got my boy Eagly. All right, so let's talk his anti-air. So number one, everybody, down 2. His down 2, 9 frames, really quick, -4 on block. It's just, I love it. I love it. It reminds me of like Melina's, for example. Just very quick, very solid. You could use it when you're in a pinch. Works perfectly. Then you got back 2. So what back 2 allows you to do. So yeah, just nice for combos. You can probably do something like this. So yeah, just use that. It's pretty good. Then you have Silent but Deadly. Obviously, it's just an upward angle projectile. And of course, you can land a torpedo right after. We showed that a little earlier. And then you got Sonic Boom, right? Anytime you land Sonic Boom, instant torpedo. It's just, it works great. It covers your entire area. If they're trying to cross you up, don't matter. I'm just gonna pop this. It is 18 frames, so know that. Just be ready for the input. But very solid anti-air. First pokes, you got stand 1. So stand 1 on block +3. That's pretty good because you're guaranteed stuff. You can just throw out another one and your opponent kind of has to take it. But outside of that, not really too special. Kind of stubby. You're going to see most of his normals are stubby, except for his gun normals. His gun normals are crazy. You got stand 2. Stand 2 is going to let you go into a pretty important string that we'll talk about a little later, but stand 2, you want to throw this out. Then you got down 4. So his crouching normals are his gun normals. He's got down 3, but down 3 is -12 on blocks. You don't want to use this. You want to use instead down 4. And down 4 has nice pushback and it's -6. And it's pretty quick. It's 10 frames, so it's 2 frames faster than down 3. And then you have the God tier normal. Now, I don't know which developer thought it would be funny to add this into the game, but Peacemaker's back 4 which misses, of course, you know, it's Peacemaker. But wherever that little gunshot is, that's where the attack lands. And it's his sweep. So yeah, I'm just a little bit outside of round start distance, and it works. I don't really have words for this. This is I think the best sweep in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Katana has a pretty good one too, so it's pretty similar. But like in terms of range, this is like twice anybody's range for a sweep. This is so useful, even people jumping in, because he takes a little back step. So you can technically avoid attacks like this because he just sticks out his gun and he shoots you and he takes his shoulder back. Very, very useful tool. So for stronger buttons, you got back two. Back two we already talked about. Nice as an anti-air, but also good as just like a tool you could use in the mid-range. It's a 13 frame mid. It advances. It's decent. It's -4, so it's still your turn. You could follow that up into your string, which is -5, but yeah. And then forward 4. Forward 4 does his big boot, 19 frames. I believe it's also -4, -3. But this is going to be your biggest combo starter. You want to use this whenever you can. You want to whiff buttons with this if you can, if you're close enough. But just remember, it is 19 frames, so careful with that. For his string, so his god string is 2-2 grab. So he's got 2-2 grab. Obviously, the grab can be ducked, but that's why he got 2-2-4. 2-2-4 lands on the same frame, and it's a mid, so they have to take it. So normally, this is kind of the game you play as Peacemaker. You either do that, or you do that. The cool thing about the grab is that if you land it, you can meter burn certain moves and you can continue combo stuff. So literally whenever your opponent's in a position where like just it works. It's a combo extender tool, but also because it's a restand, like kind of just like confuses them. So you can dash up and grab if you want to. If it's not too late in a combo, you could do that. So it's very, very versatile. Back 2-4 is a launcher, so you can land stuff like this. And now free torpedo or sonic boom. It just works. Most damaging string is going to be this one. Now this is his forward 4-1-2. Now the thing about this is that the third hit, it is special cancelable, but it's also unsafe. So you want to be careful and maybe use a safe string to save you. You know, it helps you like that. But yeah, you want to be throwing this out as much as you can. And then when you see your opponent blocks it, you just finish it off with the safe eagly. So the air string you're going to want to do is 2-1-2. Because it bounces them. And that's pretty nice. You can use this in the corner with certain cameos and it's a lot of fun. So we're going to talk a little bit about his weaknesses. So he lacks an overhead. He doesn't have one. And as you see, he doesn't have a safe low like move. I mean, I guess you have these, but these are singular hits. I'm talking about in a combo. He doesn't really have that. He's got eagly, right? But that's unsafe and you're right in their face. So that'd be one thing. He doesn't really have the mix traditionally, like an overhead low mix that you would want. He's also got pretty stubby buttons. If they're not the gun normals, they're pretty stubby because the gun normals are only one hit. They're not like combo stuff. But yeah, stubby, they can get beat. And then also he's got a couple of gaps in his strings. So like even the grab string, you can do that, or, you know, so that happens. And then even his, you know, there's a lot of gaps in his stuff, so you just have to watch out for that. So for the first team for Peacemaker, I call it Team Freedom, and that's with Striker. So Team Freedom has an overhead low mix now, so, you know, kind of has to take either that or this. It's pretty nice. Or I could just do one strike and do it. So obviously that was one of his bigger weaknesses. He didn't really have that mix, and now Striker gives it to him. Again, it's just a strike, so it's not amazing, but you know, it still works. So then you got his grenades. Grenades obviously are elite. They cover the space in front of him, and then also they allow him to do certain combos. So you can do things like this. So pretty nice. Another thing the grenades could do is like you pop anti-gravity and if they're confused, you could throw them. It's pretty nice, honestly. So something that I found really useful in mirror matches are his handcuffs, because a lot of times Peacemakers get into zoning wars and they pop force field, but this guy negates the force field if he grabs you. So it allows you to kind of go in and keep doing your offense. So this would probably be, I would consider maybe his best, just because it covers so many bases. But yeah, give Team Liberty, or no, Team Freedom a try. So I call this team Team Hot Lead. Why? Because it's Scorpion and he's got fire and I shoot stuff. So why do I pick him? So one, he's got the overhead. Overhead, Peacemaker doesn't have an overhead, so it's pretty useful. And it could be used in a restand combo. It's pretty cool. And you use it far enough, you can kind of get a little bounce like that. So that's pretty fun. Obviously, when you have a character in the air, you can do something like that. So his combo extensions help him do stuff. But I think one of his most important things is actually his spear. The spear brings me all the way back. It's an armored escape. So now I have two escapes. I have this one, and now I have this one. And in a character that doesn't have projectile, so against Johnny Cage, for example, I'm just going to be doing this and zoning you. Like, what are you actually going to do when you get in, and then I just, like, escape? Scorpion's really a good enabler for his zoning, and then also just, like, making you think about, when am I going to pop you with the overhead? It's just very nice to have. So yeah, try him out if you want to enable Peacemaker's zoning game, and then also get some extra damage while you're at it. And then finally, we got Chameleon. I call this team Team Fruity Pebbles. If you get that reference, I love you. So, Chameleon obviously has a lot of tools. She's got her Melina ball. She's got her Jade, kind of, you know, the stuff there. Katana fan. First, you got Melina. So, Melina is going to be basically your combo-centric stuff. Land something like that. So, her forward cameo is her throwing two sides. And obviously they cover the sky, they go full screen, and yeah, they kind of they work like Sonya's square wave. So you can do something like this. So pretty nice all around. One thing about the ball also goes full screen. So off of anything you can basically combo. It's pretty nice. So you got Jade and her glaive. So what's different about her and Serena is that when Jade throws her glaive, if John Cena or Jade is hit, the glaive actually doesn't come back. It kind of just goes off in the distance. With Serena, it always comes back. So that's an important difference. But yeah, you can use it kind of similar to Serena and get your damage off. Pretty nice. And then her forward cameo, it's a force field. So you can't have both of them active at the same time, but you pop one, you're pretty good. And then when it runs out, just pop this, and then hopefully you have enough time to run your offense that way. It's pretty cool. So for Katana, she's got her basic fan toss. So you could use it in close range too, and it pops them up. You get a free torpedo. As you can see, torpedo is used in a lot of stuff. It's pretty good. And then her forward and cameo, she does like this little wind thing. So yeah, just you could do shenanigans with that, and that's pretty fun. And then every Chameleon version, you have the back and then assist. This makes you do, I think, like 50% less damage or something like that, and you're always gonna want that. So Chameleon just has a lot of versatility. So play around with her and see what you like. I kind of like just throwing stuff out there, and it usually works. All right, we're gonna get into his ease of use. So for movement, his anti-gravity move, you're able to kind of escape whatever you want and confuse the opponent using things like this. And like I said, it reminds me a lot of Omni-Man's Viltrumite stance. So use it and try to master it. I feel like you'll get very far if you do. And his torpedo is pretty good at just getting out of stuff. So if your opponent's kind of jumping in, you can just escape and you'll be fine. For his strings, again, he's only got a handful, but like they're pretty decent. You know, they're either safe or you can make them safe, and that's precious. And they do a lot of damage, honestly. Like, his combos do a lot of damage in general, so you know, his strings are pretty strong, to say the least. For his specials, he just has a crazy amount of specials. Like, I didn't lost count. I think he's got like maybe 9 or something like that, and they all seem to work together. Like I said, you have, for your combo tools, you have this, you have this, you have this to finish it, you have this eagly in the corner, you have this eagly in mid-screen. Like, he's just got so many things that you could do. So you could even just use the gun if you really want to. Like, you just use the gun and you'll be fine. You don't need to use all of them. It's just all of his things are very good at what they do. For execution, timing wise, some things can be hard. So for example, like the eagly stuff, there's a little bit of delay on the low one depending on how many hits you do, and you have to kind of time stuff. And like in a cross-up situation, you can only get like a down 1 or something like that. So, you know, it's kind of hard. Sometimes you just have to figure out the timing. But once you do get that, like, you can kind of free flow with his stuff, and it's pretty easy to pull off. And for his game plan, yeah, he's just a pretty simple dude. He's either gonna shoot you, punch you, or throw an eagle at you, and he does those things very well. I would say he's probably the weakest in mid-range, but not even by that much, because he's got this and he's got this. But just because his normals are a little stubby, that's why I say that. I think he's a pretty easy character to pick up. Like, I was able to have some success with him, and I didn't know any combos. I was just using his special moves, and I was messing people up online. It was hilarious. But yeah, once you learn how to use his mind games, like his grab stuff, that's what's gonna bring you to a whole new level. And once you're able to hit confirm stuff and like get your combos off, like really in 2 or 3 touches, your opponent should be dead, and that's deadly in this game. So for ease of use, we're gonna go ahead and give Peacemaker 5 out of 5 stars. This guy's pretty good and pretty easy to use, I would say. So if you have any tips and tricks on Peacemaker, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Tell me how I did. Drop a like and subscribe. This has been Enter Peacemaker.